all those issues. Perhaps your judgment needs to be questioned, rather than my ability as a prosecutor. Dun-dun-dun. That's a good one, Edgeworth. But you see... Oh. Okay. Just doesn't matter, you know, because you see, none of that means anything, you know? Okay. How can you say it doesn't matter? Are you trying to suppress the truth? Well, you see, it simply doesn't matter as much as you say it does, you know? You see, Edgeworth, you're only saying it matters to avoid the real issue here. Think about it, we got the suspect herself saying she killed the victim. It may be true she confessed, however, that does not make it the truth. She is suffering from memory loss, so we must question the credibility of her testimony. Oh my. Even if you say that, you know, it still won't solve anything. What good will it do to deny her confession? Sounds like nonsense to me. Wanna try asking her again? I think she'll just say that she is the murderer again. Not again, though. Very well. Let's try asking her again, one last time. I'd like to hear from Kay herself, whether or not she is the culprit. Huh? From me? Will that be alright? If this goes poorly, it will be quite unfavourable for you. I do not mind. However, I shall ask Kay the question myself. I'm moved to tears, you know. Oh, how touching, you know. How very touching. Fine then, I'll let you ask her. However, I have one condition. If all this proves to be a waste of time... How much paper does he have to burn? Then that will be the end of it. How's that sound? The end? Of the hearing? Yes, yes. It seems you can be a smart one. You can be smart once in a while, Sebastian. In other words, you see, if she confesses again, Kay Faraday will be found, beyond a shadow of a doubt, guilty. Yep, it's a fine idea. Guilty beyond a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, that's right. That's harsh. By the way, if I do nothing, she'll be declared guilty. Kay. Yes? I know what I'm asking of you is unreasonable, but please, I want you to answer me. It doesn't matter how tiny it is. Do you remember anything? Anything that would prove your innocence? Why? Why would you go that far for me? I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm too scared to remember. Because... I might have done something even worse. If that were the case, I would only make things worse for you, Mr. Edgeworth. Kay Faraday must have been a despicable criminal. Someone who betrayed your trust. Don't worry. We've only known each other for a short while. But I know you very well. Oh. I'd even say that I know you better than yourself. Now that you've lost your memories. Oh. Holy shit. You cannot possibly be the true culprit. Or be the culprit, because your true identity is... the Yatagarasu badge Kay is always wearing. That's a massive chunk of health. You get 2 chances.
Take that.
The great thief Yatagarasu. The Yatagarasu is a noble thief who would never stoop to murder. I wonder, will she start to remember? What? No, it's useless. After all... no matter what, that memory still remains. This image that's stuck in my head. I just can't get rid of it. That means I must have. There's no clear evidence to prove that you're the culprit, besides your own confession. Remember what I said. You must believe in yourself. Or perhaps, you cannot trust my words. No, that's not it. It's because you are trying to save someone like me. You've already lost so much. All for my sake. I can't bear it anymore. Please. Please just give up. Oh no. I see now. I thought it was strange. The reason you were acting like you wanted to be found guilty was because you were concerned about me. That is just like you, Kay. It's because you're a good person, Mr. Edgeworth. Unfortunately, I may fall short of your expectations. I am not trying to be a good person. No matter how much you may want me to give up, I'll keep trying to save you. That is the nature of who I am. Whether or not it is a burden for you is none of my concern. Kay, believe in yourself once more. You are a noble great thief. What you should be doubting is your memory of committing the murder. That is my wish, above all else. Please. Oh god. Oh no. Oh god. Kay! Is she gonna have that scream animation again? What is it? Did you remember something? If she remembers something now, it'd be like a bad movie. Bull. Shit. Bull? Prosecutor Edgeworth. Please ask her to clarify. Well, Kay, what do you mean by bull? I remember now. The person in the red raincoat had that with her. The stuffed bull doll. I'm certain of it. Is that true? Is that true, defendant? Yes, Your Honor. The court hereby accepts the defendant's statements as a new piece of testimony. Fucking Jesus. Quit messing around, Courtney. A testimony like that cannot be accepted, you know? Your objection has been noted, sir. However, testimony about the victim's belongings has been lacking up until now. Bloody hell. Nevertheless, you know, her vague memories cannot be trusted, you know? Her memories are vague? That would be bad for you or for us as well. Didn't you say this earlier yourself, Mr. Chairman? Since we have the suspect's confession, we don't need to worry about the trivial details. Is Courtney secretly trying to work with us? It seems that way. If we decide to doubt her memories, then we must also doubt her confession, which is the main foundation of our case. Are you willing to do that, sir? Ah, you're right. Well, never mind then. I shall leave it to you. Thank you very much. We did it. It was touch and go for a while there, though. However, those words of Judge Courtney just now, it almost feels as if she is on our side. That's what I'm thinking. Prosecutor Edgeworth, do you know anything about this stuffed animal? The stuffed animal Kay spoke of must have been this. We found it in the storeroom. It is believed to be one of the items for the auction. Oh, look at it. I'll switch the screen. This is... Do you know something about it, Justine? No. It's just a bit different from what I imagined. Indeed. It's certainly not what I would have expected the victim to be carrying. Let's examine every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Trying to think what would be suspicious. Oh! The hole? The left horn is missing. There's a hole in this stuffed animal. It seems this hole is where the horn is inserted into. I guess its head isn't stuffed with cotton. I wonder what's inside. Perhaps I should examine the other side. Oh, is that probably what I was meant to do? The right horn seems to be fine, but the entire balance feels a bit off. This horn, it looks like you can move it. What? Oh, god. A recording? What was that buzzing sound? It seems this toy is equipped with a recording device. And the... Ooh! I knew who you were right away. You can't hide that burn from me. Silence, huh? I've been waiting for my chance to get revenge all this time. Is this the moment of the murder? It is Blaze. I'm almost certain it's him. Who could have recorded something like this? Oh yeah. Records audio, someone talking to another person is recorded. One of them has a burn mark. The only reason I think it's Blaze at this point is because when it started playing back audio, his dialogue in specific popped up with a bunch of dots. So, as if to say, oh dear. This is... there ain't no doubt about it. This here was what I heard. We cannot verify when these voices were recorded. It's also possible that they aren't related to the case at all. If only we had some video as well. That's hogwash. I'm telling you, that's right. That right there was a conversation I heard. The victim was holding on to it, right? I reckon it must have been recorded when she got attacked. That certainly is a possibility. However, your testimony alone is insufficient. I require something with a little more credibility. Again, her words. It almost sounds as if she's trying to give me advice. Judge Courtney, there's no mistake that those voices were from the incident. Please recall the audio that was recorded by the stuffed animal. I knew who you were right away. You can't hide that burn from me. If we compare this part of the recording with a certain piece of evidence, we can prove it. This evidence shows that the recording took place during the moment of the crime. Something that shows off the body? Oh god, that was weird. Burn mark and victim. There we go, that'll work. Autopsy! The autopsy report? And exactly what part of the autopsy report shows that? Wait, this part shows that the recording took place during the moment of the crime. Burn mark? Oh, head... well, no. Burn mark on victim's hand. I suppose I just have to present... yeah, burn. Burn mark. That should work. I remember clearly what that voice said. You can't hide that burn from me. On the victim's hand, there was a burn mark. Indeed, it just happened to match up, you see. But what of it? According to Kay's testimony, the victim had been holding the stuffed animal. And it just happened to record a characteristic of the victim, namely, the burn. That's just a coincidence. I mean, it could happen, right? I do not think so. It is hard to believe that all of this is simply a coincidence. The voices on the stuffed animal were most likely recorded during the incident. One of these voices must belong to the true culprit. From what I've heard, it must have been the one who was doing the most of the talking. But what's the point? In the end, we still can't tell their gender or identity, you know? Indeed, because they had been using voice changes. It can't be helped. It seems the situation has become quite clear. The conversation Miss Hart overheard was between the culprit and Miss Crane. That's what I've been telling you from the start. And from this, we will understand a new fact. Please enlighten us then. I trust you have no objections, Mr. Chairman? Do what you want. According to Miss Hart's testimony, just before the incident, 2 people came up from the auction hall, using the lift. It must have been the conductor and one of the auction guests. They probably went there to settle the payment after winning a bid. And then it was there that the crime was carried out. Since the auction continued after the crime took place, we are led to a single truth. This is the new fact that we have arrived at. The culprit is the conductor. Wait, the victim? No, culprit. Since the conductor was the only one who could keep the auction going, we can conclude that the deceased victim could not have been the conductor. Justine? Please be quiet here, okay? If the conductor was not the victim, then they must have been the culprit. Please wait. That alone is insufficient. Of course, even if I do not intend to rely only upon the process of elimination. Again, nothing but dots. Certain traces left at the crime scene led me to believe that the culprit is the conductor. Well then, please show it to us. What were the traces left at the crime scene that let me deduce the culprit is the conductor? The blood stain in the meeting room? To hide the fact the storeroom existed, maybe? The culprit purposely left a large amount of blood in the meeting room. In doing so, we were led to believe the meeting room had been the scene of the crime. It was a ruse by the true culprit, to hide the blood that had fallen from the storeroom. So we wouldn't find out about the existence of the black market auction, correct? Indeed. If the culprit had been unrelated to the auction, there would have been no need to do such a thing. Ergo, the culprit could have only been the conductor. Well then, do you have any idea as to who the conductor might possibly be? The auction hall is at the POC meeting room, and furthermore there is a storeroom above it. The conductor must have been, at the very least, a member of the POC. Yep. So, in other words, you suspect me, I take it. Isn't it natural to suspect you, the one with the most authority in the POC? Woo! You are quite capable. I'll give you that much, at least. But, you know, like I said before, you're far too naive. You have nothing, you know. There's no evidence that proves I am the culprit, you see? If by some chance you do have evidence, then why don't you present it? Do I have evidence that Blaze is the culprit? I don't. Blaze himself has suggested that he is the criminal. He's been showing that strange self-confidence for a while now. He knows that there is not a single piece of evidence left behind to incriminate him. If you play with fire, you're gonna get burned. Edgeworth. Just kidding. I always wanted to say that, you know. Well then, Courtney. Okay. I reckon I just remembered something too. Huh? You also lost your memories? No, that ain't it. Something just popped into my head right now. Very well, please tell us. Fucking Jesus. Connie, could you tell me what you are doing? Prosecutor Edgeworth. We'll not give up until we have destroyed every last possibility. I'm destroying every possibility, so that he will never oppose us again. Oh, she is clever. Justine? I don't really know what's going on, but well said. Pops, I'm gonna help too. After all, he's the one who's wrong. Fine then, let's hear what she has to say. Well then, Miss Hart, please proceed. Sure thing. Just leave it to me. Please make sure you only tell the truth. Ain't that a matter of course? I'm a bona fide journalist of justice, you know. Somehow I feel uneasy. You're saying the culprit was a conductor, right? That means the victim was a customer. Now here's where it gets a mite strange. You see, there were 11 people at the auction. When the auction continued after the incident, I went straight on over and snuck a peek down below. You don't mean... That's exactly what I mean. All 11 people were still there, present and accounted for. Huh? Are you sure about that? Sure, I'm sure. I saw it with my own two eyes. So it started with 11 people, and there were still 11 people after the murder. Was it a ghost? You know, Sebastian, normally a prosecutor would call that a contradiction, you know? Were there really no changes in the auction at all? Really? I'm telling you. The auction just went on like normal. But there was one itty-bitty thing though. What was it? You know those hammers you always see at an auction? Like the one that lady is using over there? An auction gavel? Perhaps? Yep, that's the one. All of a sudden, I couldn't hear the sound no more. I'd been banging away just prior to it. The sound of the gavel. Does that have anything to do with the case? Okay, that's been updated. Interesting. If Miss Hart's testimony is the truth, then this matter has taken a grave turn. If the victim was neither the conductor nor a customer, then the very foundation of Prosecutor Edgeworth's reasoning would collapse. Oh no! Justice prevails, as they say. I hope you've learned your lesson, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth, there really is nothing we can do. It's not over yet. Some mysteries still remain. I have to think. If I don't, then Kay will be... Did you get the answer you wanted this time? Well then, a deal's a deal. God, Courtney just keeps on butting in. Please wait, Mr. Chairman. I believe it's still too early to make a judgment. There are still a few mysteries left in the case. Until we have solved all of them, or solved them all, we cannot call this a complete victory. Isn't that right, Prosecutor Edgeworth? I was expecting you to shout. Hold it. Like you always do. Yes, of course. Once again, Judge Courtney has come to my aid. She must know the suspect. Not the suspect, the actual murderer. And is helping us slyly to kind of bring them to justice. Well then, what is it? What sort of mysteries are left? Well, of course, there's the contradiction in the autopsy report. That kind of thing. I brought her in. Hey! It ceased to. What's wrong? Why were we suddenly called here? Did someone suddenly get sick? I'll begin preparing a compress. Stat. Ouch. What you call me here for? Did something happen? Dr. Young, Miss Jensen, you have my gratitude for taking the trouble to come here. This won't take long, so please relax. Tell me what in blazes is going on. Of course, we called you here because something came up. Judge Courtney, just what are you planning? Bonnie Young, under the divine rule of law, please answer truthfully. There were no mistakes in your autopsy report, correct? Granny would never make a mistake. That's certainly strange. Huh? What's strange? This court has found an error in Dr. Young's autopsy report. Dr. Young, please tell the truth. Did you falsify the autopsy report? That's terrible. How can you accuse her of that? I have no idea what you are talking about. Why would I do such a thing in the first place? To protect the true culprit, of course. What you talking about, Willis? I would never do such a thing. How strange. In that case, why would there be an error in the autopsy report, I wonder? Prosecutor Edgeworth? What do you think? Oh, I expected you to press into her statement like you normally do. Why is she taking control of the situation and trying to help me? I don't know what her goal is, but I must play along. If the autopsy report you gave to Sebastian had been authentic, then the error should not have been there. Wait a minute, I didn't do anything. That is what we will figure out from this point on. Firstly, Dr. Young, I'd like to hear your testimony. Why do you want to hear her testimony? It'd be pointless. I'll be the one who decides whether or not it is pointless, not you. There are patients waiting for us. But, Granny, ouch. Anyways, we don't have time for this. Is there any way I could convince you? This is of the utmost importance. Mr. Miles Edgeworth, Granny says she'll testify. So please, try to finish this quickly. If we don't return soon, there will be people in terrible suffering. And yet, you were lollygagging about on the viewing platform earlier. I promise you, this won't take long. Only if she tells me the truth, of course. Oh boy. Da-da-da. So, error in the autopsy report. There are no mistakes in Granny's autopsy report. I've been working with corpses longer than you've been alive. There's no way I'd make a mistake in writing the autopsy report. Ouch. I got nothing to gain from falsifying the autopsy report. Is what she says. See, there's nothing strange at all. Yes, that's right. You know, there's no way she would falsify it. You see? Under the name of the goddess of law, do you swear that this testimony is the truth? Of course. Granny would never tell a lie. We were asking Dr. Young. We do not need to hear from a third party. I'm not a third party. I'm on Granny's side. Aha. If you raise an objection to my testimony, you'd best prepare yourself, you ex-prosecutor. will definitely expose a contradiction in the autopsy report. Oh boy. Right, time to press everything. I really wish this would work. Hold it. I'm just trying to think what it would actually be. Hold it. No, I have no idea. So you're saying there was no way Dr. Young could have made a mistake? Of course. Doctors can't afford to make mistakes. This is a world where just one misdiagnosis can end a long career. I know that my granny, at least, would never. If I did something like that, you'd think they'd still let me run a hospital? I mean, it is called the Die Young. Yeah. So in your long career, you've never once made a mistake? A doctor's only as good as the length of their track record. If we're just talking about a lengthy track record, that former chief prosecutor has one too. And yet, his actual abilities don't seem to measure up. Hope that you're not the same as well. Ouch. That's a low blow, you know. But you know, Edgeworth, I don't make mistakes either, you see. Because you see, before I can make a mistake, those around me will have already made it instead. You see, I don't have time for mistakes. It's quite amazing, you know. It must be karma. You can't compare a chief prosecutor with the doctor. You really can't. There's no way I'd make a mistake in writing the autopsy report. Ouch. The victim wore this raincoat after suffering a blow to the head. And yet, there was not a single drop of blood on the front of the raincoat. Therefore, it is impossible for the head wound to have been post-mortem. Well, that's... ouch. I don't need you to tell me that. That's what I wrote down from the very beginning. The autopsy report says the head wound was post-mortem. That's completely different. Yeah. I relayed to Karen what to put down in the autopsy report. After that, it was under my beeswax. Relayed to Karen. Please elaborate on that. Okay, so if I present the autopsy report here, is Karen going to admit to her error? Dr. Young, please confirm what this autopsy report says with your own eyes. I'll read it out for you. Ouch. Oh, she's sweating. No, she smacked her again. This autopsy report wasn't written by me. What? What do you mean? Consider she keeps smacking her. I don't know. God, I love these two. But Granny, I can't say that. Huh. Interesting. Miss Jensen, if you are trying to keep the truth in the dark, then... in place of the goddess of law, I shall hear your confession. Judge Courtney is talking with Dr. Young in private. What? Is that true? Oh. Understood. I shall convey your words to everyone else, Dr. Young. I probably relayed the autopsy report orally to that child. It seems my granddaughter must have mucked it up when she was writing it down. So she hid the truth. Interesting. Wow. She mimicked her voice perfectly. There was no need for her to go that far, though. In other words, the contents of the autopsy report had been falsified. By your hand, Miss Jensen. Ooh, With that, we've proven that the wound on the head came first, followed by her chest wound. Miss Jensen, why did you falsify the autopsy report? Hold on a second. She never said she falsified it, you know? She just made a teeny tiny mistake when she wrote it down. Post-mortem and anti-mortem sound kinda similar, you know? They are completely opposites. That is the very definition of falsification. Miss Jensen, why would you lie? Kay, ouch. I want you to tell me too. Why would you do something like that? Granny, but because you falsified the autopsy report, Kay fell under suspicion. Tell me why you did it. I can't say. I just can't say it. Not I don't want to say, but I can't say. You're all a bunch of bullies, you know? Ganging up on this poor girl who loves her grandmother so. She's totally unrelated to this. I think we can forgive her for one tiny mistake. Yeah, I don't think so. That won't do. Aren't you the one with the most to lose if she testifies? What are you saying? You see, as a former prosecutor, you'll have to speak a little more clearly, you know? Very well, as you wish. I shall answer clearly. Miss Jensen played an essential role in this case. She was an accomplice. Miss Jensen falsified the autopsy report in order to assist the true culprit. Ouch! This girl is an accomplice? What's your basis for that claim? It was impossible for a single person to commit this crime in the first place. The crime could not have been committed without at least 2 people, namely because... she was the other person! The number of people wouldn't match. If the conductor was the culprit, and one of the auction guests was the victim, it would contradict the witness's testimony that there were 11 people after the incident. What now? You got a problem with my testimony? Not at all.